All right, what's up, guys? We're gonna do our recap for last week. I meant to do this like yesterday, but didn't have time, so we're gonna do it now. Really cool thing that I just discovered on TradingView. I'm gonna get my face out of the way here for just a second. TradingView now has some level of integration with Webull. It's still in the beta stages, meaning it's been tested according to them. Their beta is basically just a fancy way of saying it's been tested, but when they first push it out public, there's probably some things that are going to go wrong with it, which is fine. Webull itself is, I mean, for it being a free platform, is a pretty solid platform, other than the charting being annoying. If Webull had TradingView charts, I would probably just use that for everything. Well, their options are kind of janky right now too. But anyways, so I can show my positions here. Unfortunately, you can't access this on mobile yet, so you can't do your chart trading through mobile. But for the sake of reviewing and things like that, or if you want to chart trade from TradingView, you can chart trade TradingView through Webull as your broker. So just a nice little thing to know there. So we're going to go through our positions real quick and sort of look at where we've been, what's been going on. MSTR, I jumped in that one pre-market one day and have just been waiting around ever since then. It has gone sideways and has done a lot of nothing, which is basically what I was anticipating. Um, the only concern I have is sort of like, all right, we came down, we got the pop up, we came down, we've gone sideways. And if the buyers don't start showing up soon, I do start to wonder if they're not going to show up at all. Now, mind you, this is a point where consolidation for a couple of days is, a distinct possibility. There's an 11-day period of consolidation. This is about 9 days before it decided to do something. So we've come down, we hit the zone, and since that little break and almost dead cat looking bounce, which is what has me doing a concern now, that's been 2 weeks. So is it time for everything to start moving? Is that what we're gonna see? Or is that weekly? That's a change on the weekly. So we came down, we pushed up, pushed up, pushed up. That is not such a good look with that weekly candle closing right there. So this might be one that I think about getting out of at break even if the opportunity presents itself, just because that weekly close does not look great. I mean, either that or we just need to like launch from here and get things moving along. So DKNG, I'll bring my face back in so I can pretend to be social. Um, this one's still doing exactly what I thought it would. My entry's garbage on this, but otherwise, like, pushed up, went sideways, and that's basically what I expect on something that's trending up like this. We're hitting this little ceiling right now, so we're gonna fight with this and do a little bit of derping around before we finally break through, assuming that uptrend is going to continue. And you can see that, like, right here is a really great example of that kind of price action as well, where you've got a push up, pull down. This is the dip buy, and what is forming an uptrend. And I mean, I don't draw trend lines, so just know that that's pointing that this is going up, right? You've got the push up, the pullback, push up, consolidation, breakthrough. A little bit of consolidation launched up again, pulled back and retested that, pushed up right here where we experienced the selling before, same thing, it pulled back again. So you've got that push up, it fights to get through it, it pushes up, it comes back, it retests, and now we're pushing up and going to fight to get through this and then probably be on our way back up to here where I would anticipate there's going to be something going on. We don't have any other, oh, we do have further back price action. Let's try to throw a zone on here real quick. I'm on the 4 hour, good, good, good. There's definitely something going on right there. I see, I want to widen that out just a little bit, and I'm going to capture the bulk of the move right here, this consolidation, push up, consolidate, tried to break through, completely failed and came down again. We've got a wick that retests it and confirms it. We've got these wicks, it sells off, it pushes back up, tries to hold, fails to hold, breaks through, and that finally becomes the point where we can turn around. And at that point, we're looking at there's going to be zones further up as well. This catches my attention. Just that push up, that consolidation, and then we fail and come back down from there. And the same, that's like a rally base rally right there. We'll widen that out a little bit to grab that whole move. Um, so just based on that, let's go ahead and get these zones on there. And that ought to be enough zones for now at least, right? Yeah, so there you go. We pushed up, we fought with it, we came back down and through. So I would anticipate it kind of being the same price actions. We're probably going to fight with it once we start getting up to there. Once we leave this, I am going to still have an alert right here. Once we break above that, my stop's going to break even. Because I would anticipate, even if we see some sideways stuff, I wouldn't think it's going to come all the way back down to where I got in. So that's what we're doing with that one. SPLK, I'm trying to get cube with this one. Um, I want to tag out of this one and get back in. I think it's going to retest that type 1 area before it continues selling off. The whole, like, the look of it, the curling over, push up consolidation, gapped down, filled the gap, sold off, bearish engulfing candle, comes down. Is that bearish? Oh no, come back. Oh, you can scroll sideways by holding shift and scrolling. I just learned that. No, not actually an engulfing candle, but very bearish. That one candle is. Um, so yeah, I think I'd like to tag out and then get back in up here. So we'll skip some of the green candles, get back in short, and then rock it down to the downside. I think from there, we probably derp around a little bit right here, but I think we're coming down to that zone pretty clearly. So that's what I'm aiming to do on that one. Flywire, buyers showed up strong right here. Interesting buy side volume on that 4-hour candle. And we've seen stuff like this happen once before as well. A lot of buyers showed up there. A lot of buyers showed up there for some reason. So I don't know why the volume spiked on that. We went from, the 400-ish thousand range in volume to 1.7 million in that 4-hour candle. So daily candle, I mean, a lot of volume came in. That doesn't really tell us much other than there's actually a zone and that's where the buyers and sellers are battling it out. So that's all that I can look for, is where that battle's taking place. Hopefully it's going to start breaking up from there, and that'll just be a nice channel up and be easy to ride for a couple of days. Airbnb, tag that one, sold back off. The zone's still holding, so I'm just running with it at this point. I wish that it would go straight up to profit, but it hasn't yet. And we're probably going to see once it does push up, it's going to do that same thing that we talked about, where it's going to push up to here, consolidate, and then go through. The other possibility is, and I have to get my zones back on this because my zones are not Dawn zones, so I need to retry this. This was an experiment that did not work out. But that was a lot of selling. I'm long over the weekend, but if we start breaking below stuff, then we're probably coming back down a little ways at least. And in that case, these bullish positions that I'm in are probably going to get hurt. Elf, this is nothing more than it's going from the bottom left to the top right, and I'm trying to grab a little bit of that ride. I gave it a very wide stop. I'll probably think about adding on down here. Or alternatively, if we start just slowly leaking upward on that, that's a very bearish candle right here. So we're getting the reversal, but like it wouldn't be a big surprise to see a 50% retracement of that one candle, and then all of a sudden we just give it back and come back down or something weird like that. So I might be covering this one at break even a little bit early. It's a smaller position overall, but I don't want to let that green trade turn red if I don't need to. And then TQQQ is one that I grabbed for over the weekend. I think I took my zones off the NASDAQ as well. So I think Don's got a zone going on down there. So let's go ahead and check this out. Yeah, he's got a bright yellow zone that it would be annoying because I would tag out right near the bottom of that, wouldn't I? That'll be one to watch. I'll still probably try to go long there, but if that breaks, then that's push up, consolidate, bear mode. It just needs to pick a direction already. This sideways stuff has gotten really old really fast. And oh, I was like, why did it log me out? It's because I was in the wrong window. So that's it as far as my positions go. let's go over what I what I did last week. So you have all the open positions. We have WWE. That was the one that I had to close out of early because they got bought out, and I wasn't aware of that news going on. Let's get my face out of the way again so you can actually see the journal platform. So we got WWE. That one was, I could have actually made a little bit of money on that. It would have been like a break-even trade anyways, because I'm pretty sure. Oops. I was in it. I forget where exactly I was in it. It pushed up and then came down, and it's just consolidated and went sideways from there. So that's an interesting look. Um, so there you have it. That one probably not super promising. So I'm not super mad about that. Crocs was an honest loss. We came down, we hit the zone. I bought. It did not turn around. It tagged me out for a loss. So uh, there's nothing about this that I'm like, oh, I could have done something differently. Like, look at this zone, right? Even on a weekly time frame, I'm pretty sure that zone makes sense. You've got this weekly consolidation where it held here for such a long time before continuing up. So we hit that, we bounced, and then we just failed immediately. So we didn't even get the consolidation. Um, for as much as I love Crocs, after that break, I would. The only thing I could really expect is a possible short play, and I don't know if Webull offers Crocs short. Let's go to our charts and find out real quick. I gotta minimize this though. Oh, we can short. Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. If Crocs is going to continue selling off like this, I might look for short positions. I'm out of trading capital right now though. I mean, oh, I was like, where did Webull go? I just minimized it. Um, you could see I'm drawn down pretty good, and I have all of my capital tied up in positions right now. If we go to the positions tab, there's all of our. Oh no, where's the? It's right here. There you go. You can look at our market value. Remember, this is only a $5,000 account, so uh, we're kind of hurting on capital right now. But you know, I think that's the only real thing that I can look at this week and be like, I should probably calm down just a little bit. But there's so many things that I'm like, yeah, I want to be in this. ADMA was the only other trade that we've actually locked in this week, and I'll consider that a good honest loss. It came down, it hit this zone. I stopped into the trade when it looked like it was gonna. I stopped into the type 3 looking for the reversal. It came down, it tagged me out. And really from there, I don't care for that price action where it's like a dead cat bounce. Like for this channel up to really make sense, I would want to see this thing continue. You could still make an argument that we're looking at something like this. Um, but I don't like to fudge it too much once we start getting into like when you have a channel up and a zone, I would rather just play that and call it a day. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm feeling pretty good about where I drew this zone. I think the price action makes sense based on this consolidation. So the fact that we hit it, we failed it, we broke below it, it was an honest loss. Maybe I just shouldn't be trading $3 tickers, but like when I go back through my journaling, I'm like, is there a lesson that I can learn from this win or this loss, right? Is there something that I did particularly well? Is there something that I didn't do particularly well? And in this case, the only thing you might be able to point out is that I'm trading a cheap ticker. But other than that, the structure made sense, the channel up made sense, the trade itself made sense, where I stopped out made sense. I managed my risk properly, so it was a good trade. It just happened to be an unprofitable trade. Um, so I think for this week, I'm going to let my current positions play out. Something really cool that I noticed, I was looking over the charts last night. Um, I went through and drew out my zones. I did the zone exercise where I deleted everything and then redrew them. And my zones ended up, let's pull up Don's charts again. My zones ended up matching Don's so well compared to everything else that I've done. Because when I drew these zones, I was like, why is there like this weird little gap between zones? We're playing ping pong there. That's annoying. And then you got this awkward spacing. It doesn't feel right. And then you look at Don's zones that haven't loaded for some reason. There we go. you look at Don's zones and you're like, oh, we got the weird little ping pong. He has a giant speed bump up here. I can't even argue that. That makes sense based on that one wick, right? You got the weird gap. He's got a weekly zone down here. I think mine captures, I focus more on this consolidation on the 4 hour. So my zone's a little bit further up, but otherwise, like those zones are so close. And for one, it tells me that I'm getting better at drawing zones, which is awesome. That's where I need to be in this whole exercise. The other really neat thing that it, oops, the other really neat thing that it teaches me is that I've always felt like I can't trade the 4 hour or the 1 hour because I don't have time to be babysitting. And during the day, that look, there's some days like I've got a day coming up where I'm gonna have time during the day, like maybe once to check the charts. So if an alert goes off, it just sucks. I have to miss it. I'm gonna be in meetings all day, so it is what it is. Um, unless I quickly pull out my phone, excuse me, pull out my phone and tap some buttons while somebody else is talking, and that's that. Well, but yeah, I'm not getting my hopes up on that. But what's really cool about this is we start to see, the consolidation that I'm grabbing, like this one I grabbed based on this, right? We came up, we hit it, and then we spent 2 days inside of the zone. Like this time, from the time that we hit the zone to the time that we left the zone, that was like 6 days, right? You got some more consolidation going on. That would have been a loss for a trade, but even then, it took 3 days to play out. I've always felt like the 4 hour time frame was too small for me to really focus on, and that is true if you are trying to catch, the perfect wick and you're trading like traditional supply and demand where like, your zone is like this and you're like, yeah, I got to snag it. Like that's over in 15 minutes. And you're trying to predict the very top and the very bottom, and it just gets stressful and almost impossible. Chances are, if we sell off down to here, we're going to hit this and we're going to hang out for, let's say 2 days before it decides to either break down and continue to the downside or start pushing up from there. That is plenty of time to get an alert, realize that I've gotten the alert, find time to look at the charts, take a trade, set a stop order, do whatever I want to do. Like, how am I going to manage actually getting into that trade? It gives me more time than what I thought I had on the 4 hour time frame, which sounds counterintuitive, but like I said, when you're trying to grab wicks, that doesn't always work out so well for me. Or you just end up, chasing a trade versus this. If it's going to come down there and consolidate, easy, right? I've got forever, which also means like it could hit the type 1, and I'll probably consider taking a type 1 on this if it starts showing signs of reversing. Um, Depending on what the day is and how well I can manage it. But if not, right, even if you just wait for like right here, and I would go based on that wick right there, that little wick, and actually these points of consolidation. Although to be fair, once it's come down that far, it's tagged us out. So, but I mean, look at that. For my small account, what could I risk? Like $49. I don't even have the capital for this right now. I could get in 14 shares of Microsoft. It would be a 3.5 to 1 risk to reward ratio if I just go zone to zone, which it's done plenty of times before. Um, that's where you start realizing how much sense this makes, even working from a 4 hour time frame and an hourly time frame. Uh, I'll have to see how well I can manage that during the day, but I've been sticking to the daily and the weekly. But I'm looking at this now, like I can get really good entries because my zones are getting a lot better, and the timing is not so terrible that it's impossible to trade, I don't think. So that's going to be my experiment moving forward is, how well can I actually trade that time frame? I think one other thing I'm going to start focusing on is I really want to trade charts that look like this, that are just going, one direction. I don't tend to do as well with things that are consolidating. I'd have to double check and see how my zones did compared to Don's on this one. Because that's the one that I just did, and got a weird middle zone where he has a speed bump, and then his zone's further down, right there where mine's at. So my middle zone's nothing more than a speed bump, which I don't know. I still struggle with that. There's plenty of wicks in there. Anyways, I haven't gotten his feedback on my Amazon zones yet, but I haven't traded stuff like this because I don't do super well in that kind of a context versus stuff that's just trending. Um, that makes a lot more sense to me. This is getting kind of choppy. I'm probably gonna look at. I want Apple in this zone down here for sure. But anyways, all that to say, I'm gonna start focusing more intentionally on like actual charts that make sense because I think another weakness in my trading is I am um, I'm all over the place with my tickers, which helps with diversification and trading different market sectors and getting to understand how they move. But for the most part, I feel like I'm kind of scrambled. I think there's a reason that Don focuses on tech. It's because he stares at it all the time and he understands how it moves. And the more that I get to get that ability for myself and get to understand how certain things move, I think it'll lead to better, more consistent trading in the long run. So obviously that's what we're focusing on right now. I'm gonna ride out the trades that I'm in right now, but then really start getting picky about probably narrowing down what I'm actually watching for, my actual watch list, and start trading those things a little bit more consistently. Because I think that's where is there a zone right there? That's where things are going to start making a lot more sense. I hope so. Anyways, there you go. There's my little recap for last week, what I'm looking forward to coming into this week. I need to fix my zones on the CFDs or the futures so that I have those properly. But otherwise, that's all that there is to it. So keep following along, and I will see you, I guess, tomorrow.